Are we live?
We are.
Yeah, that's under your Phantom wallet, Joe.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hive Mapper Network Bits and RPM live stream. We're doing a giveaway today. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Thank you, Mr. Gabe, for joining us. How are you guys?
Doing great. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much.
So Gabe
Thanks
is
for
the
coming.
Chief of Operations at Hive Mapper. And want to give a big thank you to Hive Mapper for sponsoring this. We're doing a giveaway of a dash cam, so be sure to look at the pinned comment for how to enter the raffle. You'll just go comment on that video. It's a Hive Mapper video. Comment where you are in the world and something about Hive Mapper, and we will randomly select that later on during this live stream.
Awesome stuff, guys.
So Gabe, you want to start it off? Also, Red Panda, thanks for having us. I really appreciate this. These are always really fun live streams to do.
Dude, thanks for coming on. No, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to give a quick intro. So hey everybody, I'm Gabe. I'm head of operations at Hive Mapper. Hive Mapper has been live as a project for about a year. Started taking pre-orders on our first dashcam product and launched our network in November. And the mission of Hive Mapper is to build a fresh, high quality map by the world for the world through a decentralized contributor network. It's kind of a drive to earn model. You install the dash cam in your vehicle. You drive around as you normally would through your daily life. It collects imagery. It collects metadata related to that imagery, location, things like that, and submits it to the network where it's processed and turned into useful map data products. This is just an absolutely massive space and opportunity. I believe it's about a $300 billion market for maps. And it's really dominated by a couple huge players, and there's a lot of real pain points in that industry today. The one who everyone knows is Google Maps, of course, and many of us use that consumer app. But they're also selling B2B maps to hundreds of thousands of businesses, governments, those kinds of customers. And the way they collect data is extremely slow. They spend about $500,000 on a dedicated car like those Google Street View cars you've seen.
Yeah.
And so they often can't refresh the data more than every couple years. It takes a long time to go around and map the entire world like that. And the intuition that our co-founders had was there's billions of people in the world driving every day, putting billions of miles on their cars every day. There's already eyes on the world. Why don't we just find a way to capture that imagery and use it to refresh the map so you can have it in real time and an understanding of what's happening in the world around us. And so, this is not only a very efficient way to build a map. It's also a way to empower people to not just be free map contributors, clicking on an app like Waze and reporting an accident just out of the goodness of their heart, but to earn tokens and kind of share in the future of the project. And so,
Awesome.
we've been live for about 3 months. We have thousands of contributors around the world. As you see this map that Joe's swiping around, you can see all these pink hexes. These are places that people have driven through the world and submitted really high quality map data through our Hive Mapper dash cams. And it's still super early days. I mean, it's an opportunity to get in on the ground floor, start mapping, map tiles that have never been mapped before, and be part of the the transformation of how maps are built for society, which is it's a really exciting project. My background, I had spent the last almost 5 years working at Lyft on a new business line over there. I love transportation, I love maps, and that's what brought me onto this project. So I'm a believer, and hope you see the potential here too.
Excellent.
Cool. I love that.
So I think the go ahead, Panda. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
So I was going to ask. So where Hive Mapper competes specifically as a product is that apart from something like Google Maps, you're going to have a much more fresh map, wouldn't you say, Gabe? So you're going to have people that are able to get into locations that maybe Google Maps cars wouldn't be able to otherwise, but you're also going to have numerous revisions of that same location and a more updated map.
Exactly. The Google model, they spend a whole bunch of money on those cars so that they can have the highest possible quality and give themselves the best chance at capturing really useful data to build their map, because they only get one shot. But if we have hundreds of thousands, millions of contributors around the world, we get many shots at getting that perfect shot. And of course, we're getting eyes on a location so much more often that you don't necessarily have to have the perfect image every time just to know that a lane is closed on the road, that the entrance to the building has moved around the corner. It doesn't have to be the quality that you get from a $500,000 mapping vehicle. You can get it with your dash cam, and so that's our point of view. Is more eyes on the road means fresher maps. It means more chances to get the perfect shot, and it means better real-time intelligence about what's happening in the world around us.
Yeah, so a real brief display of what the HiveMapper dash cam looks like. This is HDC, where I believe there's another one, HDS, that'll be available in some months here. But you're just mounted in your, you can actually mount it outside your car, mount it in your windshield or on the side, because you do want to capture imagery of the street view, but also the side view. And it does have numerous mounting points, as you see. Of course, you want the honeybee facing upward. And if in case you were to be in a collision, or there's just some cool imagery, a beautiful sunset, or I don't know, maybe an air balloon that you want to capture a picture of, you do have the USB-C adapter, where if you were to plug a USB-C compatible thumb drive into it, you can download all that imagery for your personal use.
Oh, awesome. What's the storage on one of those?
So on the camera, I think it's 32 gigabytes that can be cached, but that's not recommended. So the way it would work is that you would connect to the camera with your HiveMapper app, and you would connect through Wi-Fi through the SSID that's being broadcasted from the camera, and that's what downloads that imagery. And then either through your mobile plan, if you like, or through connecting to Wi-Fi when you get home, that
Perfect.
imagery is uploaded to the HiveMapper servers and processed on the back end.
Automatic. So
and
like when you drive
that
home.
part processing,
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have an
that part-
unlimited plan, you can just be uploading all the time. Not everyone does. Some people want to wait until they get home and dump it all via Wi-Fi. But if you have a good rate on your data plan or an unlimited plan, you can just be downloading, uploading at the same time all the time, so as not to fill up the hard drive of your phone.
Awesome.
So what I'm displaying right now is actually the map image quality assurance, and this is where you were to see what other drivers are mapping at the time, and if it's unsat for whatever reason, it's capturing too much of their dashboard, or maybe there's too much precipitation, too much snow, too much rain to actually make out the road, you would click the X. But if it's good to go, you click the green. And Gabe, from the way I understand it, this is going to help train the AI model that picks out which ones are good to be placed into the database for these different companies and individuals to pull as.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, there's a few different ways that the QA tool already operates, and there's more things that we're going to do with it in the future. Like you said, it gives us the clearest signal on if we have multiple images of a location, which one do we want to use as the one that we put front and center to a customer. The one that has universally passed QA. Clearly, that's going to be a great image, and that would be one we feel very confident putting in front of an end map data customer. It has other functions too. I mean, one is what it matters a lot that people are submitting good quality imagery, that they've mounted their dash cam properly, that they're and also that they're rewarded for putting effort into a better mount. There's people who have been innovating with roof mounts and things like that. And if you have a totally clear image like that one you just clicked the green check mark on, that was really beautiful, you should get rewarded for that. And so the Honey rewards calculations have a reputation factor that the better that your images do on QA, the more of the pot of rewards that you will get in the weekly reward cycle.
Right. So if there was less of the dashboard, like of the car, the better, right? You can see more of the outside.
Yeah, a little bit of dashboard is fine. And, we tell everyone doing QA, go ahead and click pass, because I think that one common misconception is like, if I look at Google Street View, I don't see any dashboard. That's not okay. But this isn't really intended to be, data that's surfaced to a consumer through a consumer app. This is to feed into machine learning pipelines to say, where are their speed speed limit signs? Have those speed limit signs changed?
Right.
And the ML model doesn't really care about seeing a little of your dashboard, so totally fine. As long as the road features and the signs are clear, good to go. And that's kind of what we encourage people as they're doing QA.
Yeah, and I do encourage people to participate in QA just to see like some of what you would experience on the road. And it kind of helps put into perspective when you go and mount your cam, what would it look like. So a lot of people, I tell them I would mount my camera if I'm going to remount it. I'd put it right in the dead center of the windshield, and for several reasons. But one of the reasons is because like that's where the windshield does the best wiping at, in case you need to. Also, just for me, I don't know if it's like this for other cars, like it seems less foggy because that's where like the heat is during the winter. So better display. You do want to tilt it up at a 10 to 15 degree angle, just slightly, because you are trying to catch road signs as well. That's optimal for the display. And there's another point I'm forgetting here. Either way, yeah, you can mount it on your side windows, right? As of right now, it doesn't pay any more in rewards. It's not necessarily incentivized. They're still in the early process, in the early days of processing this, but we might hear more about that down the road. Now, Gabe, what would be the difference between HDC and HDS version dash cam for anyone who is going to use this question?
So the HiveMapper dash cam is the original model we started delivering in the fall, and if you place an order on that today, that's going to ship within a week or so, pretty quickly. At this point, we've ramped up our manufacturing capabilities quite a bit, so that's the one that we're definitely encouraging folks to focus their attention on, unless there's a strong reason they want the HDCS model. Just because you can start mapping right away. It's very reliable. We feel very good about it. Whereas HDCS, it's still going through the ramp up process for manufacturing, and so you might be waiting a little longer and so on. So as far as the actual differences between them, it's mainly just on additional features that someone who kind of is a power user of dash cams might care about. The frame rate is a little bit higher, for instance. It has a stereo camera, which is helpful for establishing depth, for us on the mapping network. But it doesn't, there's nothing in the rewards formulas that would reward you more for using an S. We don't expect it to submit a higher proportion of imagery or anything like that. It's really just those other features like the kind of full video that some power users want to have, as they would want to have that from any other dash cam. So unless go to our website, compare the dash cams. If there are specific features of the dash cam itself that make the S a better fit for you, by all means go for it. But we definitely encourage just pulling the trigger, getting the base HiveMapper dash cam, because we can deliver it today. We know it works really well, and you can start mapping and earning, and that's obviously why we're all here.
Yep, use the link in the description of the video. Trillion Capital Toronto Corporation asked a question: is it still advised to earn more by having the camera outside?
So I think this is definitely a personal decision. Obviously, if you mount outside, you take on some additional risk of road rocks getting kicked up, and of course it adds some friction of installing and removing every time you park the car. You're not going to park it on the sidewalk or on the street with your dash cam on the roof. So there's definitely some reasons you wouldn't want to do it on the roof, but I mean, the imagery is going to be super, super clear, and you'll probably see that translate into a very high reputation score, just from not having any reflections from the glass or any view of the dashboard. So I think everyone needs to make those kinds of personal decisions for themselves. We don't really recommend one or the other. We get great imagery, maybe not this one, this has a lot of dashboard, but we get great imagery from people who have mounted inside the car, and it's by no means is it a requirement, or will you be punished for having an interior mount. There's lots of great imagery coming out of interior mounts.
Now, when you are doing the Q&A, as I'm doing currently, you are earning a small amount of crypto, but I believe over time that will end up being 10% of the rewards pool. So if you are to clip through the map Q&A imagery, like for example, right now I'm earning a very small amount of honey token for doing this work. There was another question in the comments, and this goes back to privacy, which we should briefly touch on. So when it comes to the cameras, although you can see some of the license plates right now and faces, if they were to appear, in the end result, it will have all that blurred out. So not necessarily a privacy concern from that standpoint. Also, it doesn't have a rear view camera, nor does the S. So it's not going to be taking your picture while you're driving or monitoring what you're doing. But I know a lot of people are concerned from that standpoint. Like, why do we want to map everything we see, or map people's homes, map the roads? Like, what? Or they're even concerned from like a personal standpoint from stalking. So just to answer this. Everything that you do right now is being captured either by like the street cameras. People have the Ring doorbells. There's red light cameras. So it's another camera on the road, sure, but in the big picture, I wouldn't say that much of a difference from anything that's already being captured. But when it comes to the map, like let's say, I'll give you an example. Some of this mapping out this way is like mine. Like I drive in this area all the time, but you can't really click on that. You can't click on the hex to see who mapped that. It's not going to show you. It's not going to show you who's in what area. The only thing I tell people to be mindful of when it comes to this is like, if you really hone in on where some of the detailed mapping is, like you'll notice there's different parts that light up in a very bright pink, and this is because it's been mapped within the past 7 days. Where if you're always seeing that it's lit up like that, there might be people who decide, okay, based on the map, I can see someone lives probably around this location. So if you're parking in the street and you're not bringing your dash cam inside, potential risk of a threat, but they won't be able to see where you map. You could always turn off the mapping while you're in your home area, but I always bring mine inside. I love my camera. I really would rather not get stolen.
Awesome.
And a lot of people, will kind of, not wait to turn on the camera until they leave their neighborhood or turn it off before they come home. I mean, because also you've mapped those roads over and over and over again, right? How much value is there in that? I think one thing I want to stress though is, like privacy, we take really, really seriously. And so there's a lot of ways that we've designed this to be extra secure and private. So for instance, when you start mapping, we don't even know, your identity. We know who bought a camera, we have to ship it to you. But we have no way of tying back the imagery that's been submitted to an individual. The identifier that we have is your Phantom wallet and, the username and the like alphanumeric ID of that, but that's not tied in any way to a dash cam. Like we don't know which dash cam belongs to which person, or we don't have any way of tracing that back to an individual. So there's ways like that we've designed it to be secure and private from the beginning. And I think you'll see more and more features coming online. automatically wiping the beginning and end of your trips if you want to kind of obscure where you're starting and ending. There's a lot of things that we intend to do to kind of build on what we've already done to date in how we design the system.
So this is really all you can see from a wallet standpoint. Yes, my personal wallet. So if you want an idea of earnings, now keep in mind, as I've explained in my videos on my YouTube channel, Network Bits, there's several factors that go into it. Obviously, how much of this is how much of the map that you're covering has been mapped within the past 7 days. So there's a freshness score where if I'm mapping the same road every day, I'm going to earn fractions of what I would have otherwise. But if I'm mapping it once every 7 days, you're getting the full rewards for that route. And Gabe, if I'm wrong on any of this, please jump in and correct me. There's something else that is known as the region weight score. So if you were to look at the region, each one has a percentage, which the higher the better, but this is for the most interesting of regions, where they're finding this data more useful and trying to incentivize people to map in that region. So you will receive a little bit more in those regions for mapping if you have that higher weight score. And the best way you can check if you're in that region would be here in the map. You come down to the bottom right, select regions, and it will show you what areas are in those specific regions.
Yeah, spot on, Joe. And I think one thing, a lot of folks have been asking for, better ways to understand all the factors that go into individual weekly rewards and kind of game out, like what would it look like. We know that that's something that's in high demand, and we've been putting a lot of work over the last couple of weeks into kind of calculators that would allow people to kind of game out, if I drive this many miles or this many miles, if my freshness is this or this, how does that translate? So you can kind of follow it through the formulas. We're going to put that on our website and make that available soon. It won't be a full productized solution in the app or in the Explorer yet, but we're looking forward to sharing more and more so that people can make those informed decisions about how and if to participate in the project.
I do see a comment about ROI in the chat. There's not as of yet any real you can make predictions, but they won't be solid predictions. So I've looked into the tokenomics a lot, and the way it's laid out as the emissions, they pick up as the map matures. So within the first couple years, you will have gradually increasing rewards that are then divvied up, split out to all the individuals who are mapping. And then there are halvings, so to speak. I don't believe it necessarily halves. I think there's a reduction of 40%, correct me if I'm wrong, within coming years, just as there is with any other crypto project.
Right.
But as you see with Dune, this is the Hive Mapper Analytics dashboard. You see that the overall output of rewards is picking up gradually.
Yeah, and partly that's a reflection of just more people coming online. But if you scroll down to the bottom, Joe, there's a table right near the bottom which shows it at more of a user level. Keep going. This is, I think, the best place to look. If you keep, I think, one more table down, just right below here. Right here. You can see on a weekly basis the mean, median rewards there in this table. I think this is the best indicator. As you'll see here, they've been pretty flat the last month or two as the network has matured. Because I think the thing that's important to understand is there's countervailing factors here. The way the tokenomics are set up, the higher the region progress, the more coverage that's being generated, the more people who are active, and thus the more resilient our map network is, the more gets minted. So it's not like it's just a constant decline. Like, more people coming in increases the size of the pool. Now, of course, at the same time, if it becomes harder to find fresh roads because everybody and their cousin is mapping, of course, that will naturally lead to a decline. But very early days, and so I think we're seeing a pretty steady week over week honey rewards on like a per contributor basis. So you can look at this, you can kind of understand that. And I think the other thing that, as Joe alluded to, what's harder to speak to is just the longer term as demand materializes for the mapping network. The reason why Honey exists is Honey is the way that you gain access to map data. You exchange the Honey for map credits, which you use to buy the map data. And so that's where the demand comes from. And we are so early in the process of building a map that there just isn't a lot of finished products that we can sell to end customers yet, right? And so it's very early days, but ultimately that's where the demand comes from. And so ultimately, what we're focused on is building a useful map product. And what we're excited to collaborate on with our community is is, how can we make this project deliver the most value to those end customers of map data? That's the way that everyone wins who's taking part.
So I do see a couple comments that talk about the dash cam itself, and Joaquin Liel writes, in my opinion, creating an app would be way cheaper. Buying more mining equipment that we never ROI on, helium in
as an example,
parentheses, just makes it hard for us to believe. And there's another one. What technology inside the HiveMapper dash cam? Are the dash cams customizable, and can people construct their own dash cam? So to answer the second one, no, you cannot construct your own dash cam. I believe that was tested where it was like having people mount their cameras. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll just give my 2 cents on this real quick. When it came to helium, we've seen people try to game the system in every which way. I mean, going after automating transactions that are literally a fraction of a cent to be repeated a million times over, that's the lengths they will go to. So you do need something that has a secure mechanism for preventing that type of gaming of the system. You also need quality assurance. So with this, one of the examples I would give is like if someone just created a bunch of feeds to like pull off YouTube videos of people who record the road and constantly fed that into the system, that could be gaming the system, and you just replay that over and over and give it a different GPS location every time. That is one of the ways people would try to game the system if you let them. With this, you do have a very accurate global positioning system on it, as well as other ways to validate the area being mapped, which we'll elaborate on a little bit later. But that's unfortunately how it has to be. There's also quality assurance issues that go along with just letting everyone have a different phone. So I understand the concerns, but that is that's how it was optimized.
Yeah, those are all great points, Joe. I think you covered the subject really well. I mean, and we don't see ourselves as a hardware company, right? Like we're a map network company, and if we felt that using your own phone would deliver the quality of data that would be needed to build a global map, that's obviously a much easier way to go to market. I mean, it's been very painful, to be quite honest, the process of standing up manufacturing and global distribution for the first time. It would be much easier to do it the other way. And other companies have tried to do it that other way. To name one name, Mapillary, which was acquired by Meta a couple years ago. And there are real downsides to that. You mentioned, the lack of standardization across different phones, which makes it very hard to consistently feed data into machine learning pipelines and get the same results. Mm-hmm. Also, the quality of the imager, the camera itself can vary a lot from phone to phone. And I think, like you said, most importantly, the GPS signal. Phones don't need to have quite as precise a GPS location as we require for this purpose. And if you look at the Mapillary data, I believe it's out there. They have their own kind of equivalent of an Explorer. You see traces going all over the place, cutting corners, not following roads. We can't have that. That won't generate a map that's useful to the end customer. So yeah, I would love for it not to be necessary for people to bring one more piece of hardware into their life. Unfortunately, it is what's needed for this project. And I think the thing that's really great is, it's not just a miner, it is also a dash cam that you can use in your everyday life to provide peace of mind as you drive and have data in the event that you get into a crash. So it is a multi-function product and serves other things besides just mining. And I think one more thing to the question about can I make my own? If you had the technical capabilities to do that, theoretically, actually you could, because this is intended to be an open dash cam specification so that third-party manufacturers can come in and build their own dash cams that are compliant with the HiveMapper network. I mean, you could very easily imagine all the other companies that are out there selling dash cams today deciding, hey, why don't we just add the ability for people to mine too? It adds value and makes it easier for people to buy a dash cam. So, I think in the future, you will see more options coming onto the market rather than just HiveMapper dash cams. Might be hard to do it yourself, but if you were really skilled, you probably could.
That's there.
Now, there was a question, the difference in cost of the dash cams. So $549 for the HiveMapper dash cam, HDC regular, HDC S $649. Use the link in the description, you'll save 10%.
Is the HiveMapper Dashcam S released already?
No, we're ramping up the production right now, and so we expect to start production in April. And
Nice.
we do have back orders for that dating back about a year, so it is going to take a little time, and that's why we do encourage people to go and get the HiveMapper dashcam if they are excited to start mapping right away. We don't want to we don't want people waiting months if they're excited to start mapping and they don't really need the additional features that the S provides. It's a great product. We're really excited to get it out there. But you're not going to earn any more rewards using the S. The HiveMapper dashcam is a great product, very reliable. So we definitely encourage folks to consider that as well.
Awesome.
All right. Trying to get to all the questions that we have. There's a lot of good questions that come out of this. Someone asked if the Panda Cam is coming online soon. I don't think so. How much data on your cell phone does it use while you're driving around, Mining King? So just to put it into context, earlier today, I drove about 40 miles from where I was to my destination, and it stored a gig of data on my phone. So I don't use my cellular plan to upload it. I connect to my Wi-Fi when I get home, and then I upload it to HiveMapper server. There's a question from Trillion Capital Toronto Corporation. Is there other product offerings eventually coming down the pipeline, such as traffic camera style device? So maybe like a stabilized or static position camera that collects analytics or any other type of data that is going to be collected.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, that's not one that we have actively in the works, but I could definitely imagine that being attractive. And maybe somebody who operates in that space would want to make their device compliant with the HiveMapper network. I think that would be a really exciting prospect. We don't have any other products to announce at this time. Like I said, we do expect to start working with manufacturers for additional products that are compatible with the HiveMapper network. We can and probably will launch some others ourselves at some point. But right now, all of our emphasis is just on scaling up production and fulfillment of these two models, because these meet the needs of the network at this time, and we don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse and design before we really deeply understand exactly what our customers using this the initial data coming out of the network are telling us they want from the network. That will determine what the products look like.
So there is a question from Ovalboard Tech. Is this IP67 for outside mounting if it starts raining? And what purpose is the LoRa radio in it serve if it has a TGPS chip and uploads via Wi-Fi or external cellular? I'm not seeing. So you can look at the
I can answer the LoRa question.
here.
I can't answer the IP65 question. I'm sorry on that. I'd have to bring in the engineering team. But as for the LoRa question, we have the LoRa is there to serve as additional location verification, right? GPS is reliable, but it can be spoofed, and LoRa provides a second check that allows us to ensure that the location is genuine and isn't being spoofed.
Excellent. Yeah, awesome. And that does use the Helium network to provide that additional verification. So the way I seen in another, it was either in the HiveMapper Discord, it was explained, or another Q&A, but if you were to be mapping and in a given position, it sends out that, I'm at this coordinate, it looks at which hotspots pick it up, and it would compare and contrast it to another mapper with the same device who would send out that data transfer at that same position to see if they're both relatively being picked up by the same hotspots. So I think that's very neat and useful. Like I said, people try to game the system any way they can. So we need multiple verification checks. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There was another question from the Mining King. What about a motorcycle edition? Love riding my bike.
Yeah, we get this one a lot. So currently we're only supporting 4-wheel vehicles. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I would love for you to be able to ride on the motorcycle. I mean, your clarity of view would be sensational, right? So that would definitely be a win. The challenge is just the camber from the banked turns makes it hard to feed into the ML pipelines. But we have a community of builders who are always trying out new things. And I believe someone is setting up a stabilizer gimbal to test that out. So we are so excited to see what they bring back. Hopefully they have a kit that they can sell or explain to other members of the community who want to take those weekend rides on the bike and be mapping too.
Cool.
Mining Chamber asks, oh, by the way, before I get more questions in, guys, be sure to check out the pinned comment. Go comment on that video, something about Hive Mapper and your location in the world, because we're about to raffle off this dash cam shortly here. I know many of you are excited for that. Mining Chamber asks, is Hive Mapper planning on building a map app such as Waze or Google Maps with their own data?
Yeah, it's not our priority at this moment in time. The B2B mapping space is an enormous market, and as you can imagine, the amount of R&D that's gone into building something as good as a Google Maps or other similar app is quite daunting. And so there's a lot of ways to use the map data generated from the network before we even do that, to sell data to existing map companies who want additional information to keep their map fresh, to sell to any kind of app developer who needs to put a map into their app and wants a lower cost data source. Logistics companies, delivery services and so on. I mean, there's so many customers out there. And so that's kind of our very intentional go-to-market strategy. We're not letting ourselves get distracted by the consumer use cases just yet. But, the sky's the limit in this space. If we're successful with the B2B space, who knows what the future holds, for the consumer side.
And you can monitor how many data users there currently are. So there is one that seems to be consistently using this data. Now, just real quick, guys, it does earn the honey token, but there's numerous tokens called honey. So what I do is I go to Google Hive Mapper honey token and CoinMarketCap. The price has pretty steadily been around 7 cents for the last month or so, up or down a little bit, give or take, but pretty steadily. There is one exchange that currently supports it, Radium, and it is on the Solana blockchain. So I talk more about that in videos on my channel if you're interested in that. I know there's a lot of people asking about earnings. So this is my wallet if you want to take a look at it, and you can't see like how much I've mapped versus how much I've earned. You can always select random wallets here, but it doesn't really give you where they are in the world. You can take a look at the average earnings on Dune to get an idea. Keep in mind, like we mentioned before, there is numerous aspects that go into this tokenomics. I have a video on it as well on my channel. However, the weight is going to play a big factor in how much you earn when you're mapping, as well as regional progress does play a small factor as well. It's just best to look at the docs, but
yeah. And keep an eye on our Discord and on our docs. We're going to be releasing a calculator in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a V1. It won't be productized, but we want to make this information more clear to folks so that you understand based on where you are in the world, based on how much you drive, kind of what kind of honey rewards can you expect. Obviously, people want to know that information, and we want to provide it to them.
WTV, does it make a difference if you offload on cell data or wait for Wi-Fi? I don't think so. I don't see why it would.
Whatever works for you.
Is there a wait? So for instance, one of the hexes, say it was a day old, right? Someone got the mapping of a certain area and that was a day old. And if somebody remapped it the next day, would that earn a little bit of honey token? the next
Yeah,
day?
it would earn a little bit, but there's basically a 7-day freshness period currently across all regions.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
And so if somebody remaps it after 7 days, 100%. But if someone remaps it after 1 day, it'll be not so much. 2 days, it'll be a little more, et cetera.
I see.
And so that's the way it works.
Okay. Perfect.
So and so when we release the calculator tool, I think people will be able to see exactly how that works.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, you guys ready to raffle off this camera? Does everyone comment on the video in the posted link?
Let's see. Let me bring that up.
Yes, Fuego Marty, the discount code is in the description, sir.
I see Mining King's comment. Love the product. Need the motorcycle edition. Okay. Yeah, I see over 123 comments. Yeah. How many people watching? 180 people watching right now, guys. Smash that like. Thanks for being here. 1 more minute, and then we'll choose the winner. Get your comments in the live chat. Pinned comment. That's how you participate. Giving away a Hive Mapper dash cam. This one right here. Love it.
I like that you're asking where people are in the world, by the way. Like, we are just so jazzed to see how the adoption is occurring all over the world. Places like Portugal, Netherlands, Korea, Malaysia. It's picking up in so many cool places. And so, yeah, excited to hear some of the places that folks are chiming in from.
It's pretty cool.
Now, there are questions in the comments. So I'm not sure if you can answer on this in a video, but there are people asking who's buying the data. Trillion Capital Toronto Corporation asks which parties have signed a letter of intent to purchase data and produce revenue, and do they need to purchase the token to participate?
Good question.
Now, they wouldn't be purchasing the honey token. They'd be purchasing more of a stable coin, which is the map credit token, map credits. But that is what would burn honey token.
They could either way. Like, if you let's say that you had let's say that you were like a realty company and you had a fleet of cars driving around because you wanted to use it to know, like, what do the houses that we're selling look like in real time. Just to throw an example out there, you could exchange the honey that your fleet earns for map credits to buy map data. But if let's say that you're a city government and your regulations don't even allow you to touch crypto, you can pay fiat directly for map credits. That's why it's not just a direct honey for map data exchange. In addition to the stability element that you mentioned, Joe.
Excellent.
Nice. Okay, you guys ready for the giveaway? Let's see here. I got the comments. Copy, paste, filter, duplicate users.
You got a super chat from the Mining King.
Oh.
Thanks, Panda and Joe, for bringing this project to the community. Enjoy the chicken nuggets. Panda Nugget Fund. $20.
Thank you, Mining King.
All right.
All right. You guys ready for comment picker? Let's do it. Joe and Gabe, you guys probably can't see my screen, but it's okay.
No.
All right. Let me just verify here. We got 143 comments on the Hive Mapper YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go subscribe to them as well. Good stuff. Okay, here we go. I get the comments one more time.
Yeah, I can see it on the live stream.
Okay, perfect. 136 unique comments. Okay. There we go, bros. Good luck. Joe, you count it down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cryptith. Seems kind of cool. USA. Cryptith, congrats. Are you here? Oh my god, Cryptith. You've won. I see him.
He's here.
He's here.
He is here.
Congrats.
Excellent. Cryptith, be sure to send an email to Red Panda.
Yes.
With verification that you own that YouTube channel.
Cryptith, He's won stuff from me before, actually. He's a longtime viewer. Congrats. Awesome. Congrats, man. Please email me. contact@redpandamining.com. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Gabe, for the giveaway. Awesome. HiveMapper dashcam. Like it. I'm gonna need to buy one. I want to put one on my car. I wonder if there's anyone in my area. Here, I'm gonna look at it off screen here.
Yeah.
Dune is the website's dune.com.
No, HiveMapper.com.
Oh, HiveMapper.
Dune
oh, sorry, for the Explorer. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dune
Explorer. HiveMapper.com/Explorer. Yeah.
Explorer.
I guess this one's all right.
Yeah, we within the HiveMapper team, we have an internal Slack thread where we share the weirdest things that we come across in QA images. You know, people's feet up on the dashboard blocking the windshield. It's like, come on, you're killing your QA. Put that foot down. It's a fun thing.
That's funny.
Can't believe people do that. So I do have a question. Now,
yeah,
I'm sure it will occur, but hypothetically speaking, if I'm going through the map image QA and I see a crime being committed on camera, what should I do?
Send us an email at hi@hivemapper.com. I don't know that we've witnessed an actual crime yet, but we've gotten a couple people seeing something they were alarmed by messaging us. So send us a note and we'll see what we can do.
Excellent. Trillion Capital writes, extra earnings, LOL. So I know there is a feature coming out in the app where it's going to be more interactive, like Waze. Like if you were to be able to report a slowdown in traffic because of an accident, or you are able to manually enter some of the different, I want to say terrain features or maybe traffic features that randomly popped up. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, Gabe?
Yeah, so the feature, the internal name we have for it right now is called Buzz. And the idea would be that as you're driving down the road, typically it's going to be pretty passive. You're just going to be collecting, driving, but once in a while you see something that someone should really take a look at. Maybe the lane is closed, there's an accident, there's a speed trap, like whatever it is that is worthy of taking a look at. We even are thinking people could use it to flag like really cool street art or something. And so you would just tap the B icon and it would flag it for special treatment in QA, and that would be kind of coded and saved. And the value here is just to provide real-time information about events. So Joe, you're driving in Chicagoland, big interstates around there. There are going to be people driving down. Is it 90? Is that the one that runs through Chicago?
290. There's 294, 55.
Yeah, anyway, 290s. There's going to be hundreds to maybe thousands of people driving down 290 every single day. We don't need every one of those pictures. Like, not much is changing. But once in a while, someone's going to drive down and there's going to be like a mattress on the road and it's going to be a dangerous condition. And that's information that everyone should know. And so that's the point of the Buzz feature, is to allow people to say something has changed here that you really need to know, rather than just having people send the same pictures over and over and over and over again.
Nice.
See what other.
And that's actually that gets me to one other thing that I want to call out for the community is like, you can earn rewards however you drive, but as time goes on, there's going to be more and more and more value in driving patterns that take you off those main roads and get onto those side roads. I mean, you can see here the highway has been mapped a ton. Some of those side roads haven't. And so the kinds of folks who are delivery drivers, gig drivers, maybe you're doing rideshare, food delivery, whatever, that take you out into the neighborhoods and off the beaten path roads. there's a lot of value to be had there. And so, we have people who are kind of engaging with the project as called fleet managers, where they have the capital to buy dash cams. They sync up with people who maybe don't have the capital to buy the dash cam, but they're driving a lot in the kinds of patterns that will be great for generating great map data and great rewards. And so they kind of, are the matchmaker there who helps those folks get their cameras installed to generate those side roads that are maybe a little harder to get. So that's another way that people who are engaging with the project, even if you work from home, even if you don't drive that much, there's still opportunity to kind of mine through fleets. And we have special features that have just launched and that we're continuing to build out to support fleet managers specifically.
Awesome. Another question from Burry. Do you earn more if you drive faster?
That's a dangerous question.
I mean,
I'm not gonna encourage anyone to drive faster, but I mean, you're capturing on a certain frame distance, and so if you cover more distance, you can capture more frames. But at the same time, if you're driving fast, you're probably on a freeway, and so the freshness might be lower. So I don't know whether you would drive faster or whether you would earn more driving faster. I'm definitely not going to encourage you to speed. Just take it easy.
Yeah.
Trillion Capital Toronto Corporation asked, does it have a cigarette lighter attachment so I can smoke? And I believe that is the native attachment that comes with it. So yes, if you have a cigarette lighter outlet in your car, you will be able to just plug it in. Gabe, would you know if like someone doesn't have a cigarette lighter, like say they have USB, is there?
Yeah, there are aftermarket USB to 12 volt adapters that I think they cost like $12 or something that I've seen people on the Discord using if they don't have the 12 volt.
That's cool.
Power Mines Crypto. Will Honey be added to Zelcore wallet? I don't know. Only the Zelcore creators can tell you that. Anthony writes, when Helium Mapper integration? I'm not sure. That's a question for the Helium team, I guess. I'm going to ask CEO Ariel's favorite question. Should I quit my job to do Hive Mapper full time?
No. The answer is no. I mean, we don't even encourage you to to drive, in your free time just for Hive Mapper. Like the whole point here is there's enough miles being driven in the world already every day. If we can just collect those miles, we have a map. Please don't go and add more miles, creating more congestion, creating more emissions. Just drive the way you normally would. Bring the dash cam along for the drive. That's what we ask. I will make an exception to that, which is if you are driving, the same routes all the time, spice it up. Take a different route that doesn't take you very far out of your way. Hit those fresh hexes. I mean, I do that. I run the errands with the family, and I'm always like, hey, do you mind if I take an extra 2-3 minutes for a more off the beaten path route? Sure, do that. That's fun, and you see some new places too. But just please don't drive just to mine.
Ron Watkins asks, can you identify a driver from the submitted video? Say police want to know who saw something.
No, we don't have any way to identify people from their submissions. We don't have a way to tie the dashcam ID or the app back to an individual. The only unique identifiers we have are linked to their Phantom wallet, which is anonymous as well. And this is by design. We don't want to know who you are.
Excellent. But
you could extract the video footage after if you wanted to look at it, right?
I mean, we can look at the imagery they submitted, but that imagery, unless they are holding their ID up to the camera while they drive, it won't have anything identifying it.
Right. No, I mean the person who has that dash cam, they can take the footage and send it to the police, basically.
They could if they had that, yes. So it'd be that. So if they have a USB stick and they're saving the imagery, they own that imagery. They can do whatever they want with it. It's their dash cam.
Right.
Shay Mining asks, does it work during the night? No. You are mapping. It is an hour and 15 minutes after sunrise and ends an hour and 15 minutes before sunset. You can keep your car in there, and if you have your thumb drive connected through the USB-C adapter, you can still take that imagery for yourself. However, you're only mapping during those times after sunrise, before sunset.
Yeah.
And I think like that's critical just for making sure that there's quality map data on the network where you have clear visibility. But one thing that we're really realizing recently is to launch a feature like Buzz, where you're able to submit real-time event notifications. I mean, a lot of those happen at night, and that even if the imagery isn't clear, the event notification may still be useful. So we're thinking about like how we could bridge that gap to allow people to submit Buzz reports at night, even if the imagery isn't being collected. There's different kinds of approaches that we could take there.
And for earnings, rewards payouts. So it starts Monday, ends the following Sunday, and then rewards typically come out late Wednesday night, or Thursday morning, sometime approximately around there. So it goes straight to your Phantom wallet, which you also have to download with the HiveMapper app, and then you'd connect the HiveMapper app to your Phantom wallet before you drive. So when I showed that, I don't think I have it up anymore. The wallet, that was my personal wallet. That's where tokens always go to. Of course, don't give away your 12 words. Nobody will ever ask you for your 12 words. Support will never ask you for 12 words. HiveMapper Dash Team will never ask you for your wallet 12 words. No matter how many times I say it, I know one of you will still give it away.
Yeah, if someone's saying they're going to airdrop you for nothing, just don't click it.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So we've been going for about an hour. Do we have any last questions here?
I like it. Gabe, is there any going to be new models after the Dashcam S?
There definitely will be. It's just a question of when and from whom, right? Like there's additional functionality that we're already learning we would love to offer at some point in the future, and we're excited to open this up to third-party manufacturers who can innovate, combine this product with other products, maybe even drive down the cost eventually. So there will be others. It's just a question of when, and there aren't any that are imminent. So if you're, I definitely wouldn't encourage anyone to wait. You might be waiting a little while, but yeah, there should be some others in the future.
All right. Well, I appreciate everyone attending this live stream. Gabe, thank you for being here and answering all these questions. Thanks to HiveMapper for sponsoring this and giving away a dash cam to the audience. Panda, thanks for putting this on and always being generous to your audience.
Thank you.
I don't know anyone who gives away as much stuff as you do.
No. This is all you, man. No, thank you so much for setting this up.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabe.
Thank you. It's been fun. Bye, everybody.
See you, Barrows. See you, everybody.
See you later.
Smash that like on the way out. Thanks for coming on. See you guys.